I'm David Toman, author of Nootropics Expert and this YouTube channel. In this video, you'll discover the nootropic benefits of Forskolin. This is an update to a video I made on Forskolin a few years ago. Now, for older neurohackers, you'll recall that Forskolin is included in the now famous CILTEP stack. And for younger biohackers, in this video, you'll learn how Forskolin has been shown to boost memory and learning, improve motivation and mood, and stimulate brain blood circulation. Forskolin, or Coleus forskohlii, is the only known supplement to naturally boost CAMP, or Cyclic Adenosine Monophosphate, in your brain. CAMP is important for neural signaling within brain cells. As a secondary messenger in neurons, CAMP produces proteins needed for neuron and synapse growth. This process is called long-term potentiation, which is the process where synaptic connections get stronger in response to electrical stimulation in your brain. This process happens naturally throughout life experience. It's a critical part of synaptic plasticity and how experience is recorded and encoded for learning and memory. Forskolin is a chemical compound extracted from Coleus forskolin, a perennial plant native to India, Burma, and Thailand. Forskolin has been used for millennia in traditional Ayurvedic medicine to treat heart disease, convulsions, spasms, and painful urination. Forskolin is used in Western homeopathic medicine to treat allergies, skin conditions, obesity, PMS, irritable bowel syndrome, urinary tract infection, bladder infections, cancer, blood clots, male infertility, insomnia, and convulsions. Some healthcare providers even use Forskolin intravenously or for IV for heart failure. But in this video, we're going to explore how Forskolin benefits your brain. You will learn in detail, including a few clinical studies on how Forskolin helps increase neural signaling, because it increases CAMP, which in turn helps boost cognition, long-term memory, and improves alertness. You'll also learn how Forskolin increases brain blood circulation, and how it stimulates BDNF, which also helps with long-term memory. Sound good? Now, before we get started, please hit the subscribe button for this channel. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps YouTube to know to suggest this channel to someone else who may need this information too. And hit the share button so others can learn about Forskolin and how it may help them deal with their own brain health issues. And by the way, I also offer personal consultations. So if you need some help with choosing the right supplements for you, schedule an hour with me using the link above or down in the notes section, and I'll help you figure out what you should be using to feel better. Now stay with me for a few minutes and I'll tell you more about Forskolin. Let's get started. Forskolin is a chemical compound found in the Coleus forskolin plant, a member of the mint family, which grows as a perennial on the plains of India and the lower Himalayas. Coleus forskolin was used in traditional Ayurvedic medicine to improve mood and for general health and wellness. As a folk medicine, this herb was used to treat central nervous system disorders, problems with the heart, lung function, skin, and gastrointestinal issues. Researchers and holistic medical practitioners use this extract Forskolin to boost cerebral blood flow, to lower blood pressure, to treat hypertension, asthma, and congestive heart failure. As a nootropic, Forskolin is the only known supplement to naturally raise CAMP levels. Forskolin activates the enzyme adenylate cyclase, which increases intracellular levels of CAMP, which stands for Cyclic Adenosine Monophosphate. CAMP was discovered in 1956, and its production is now known to be the final common pathway for many hormones and neurotransmitter agents. Now, to put this in practical perspective, hormones and neurotransmitters do not enter the cell. Instead, they activate a receptor on the cell membrane that is part of the adenylate cyclase enzyme complex. The production of CAMP in the cell is catalyzed by this complex. The cyclic AMP or CAMP then activates CAMP-dependent protein kinase, which results in changes in the cell's function based on input from relevant hormone or neurotransmitters. The elevation of CAMP along with protein kinase is required for long-term potentiation. Now, this increase in neuroplasticity is how long-term memories are formed and encoded in your brain. Researchers have found that increases in CAMP rapidly activates Brain-Derived Neurotrophic Factor receptor, called TRKB, and induces BDNF-dependent long-term potentiation at the Schaefer collateral CA1 synapse in the hippocampus. Translated into plain English, this means that in simpler terms, Forskolin boosts CAMP levels, which affects long-term potentiation, which is an integral part of the process in developing and encoding long-term memories. Next, I'll share with you exactly how Forskolin works in your brain, so please stay tuned. Forskolin boosts brain health and function in several ways, but two in particular stand out. First, Forskolin enhances memory. Forskolin as a nootropic has the unique ability to activate the enzyme adenylate cyclase. When this enzyme is activated, it converts to CAMP, or Cyclic Adenosine Monophosphate, which is a secondary messenger that is used for intracellular communication. CAMP helps stimulate the production of CREB, which is short for CAMP Response Element Binding Protein. An increase in CREB enhances long-term potentiation. This is the connection between brain synapses, strengthening in response to stimulation by neurons on either side. This is a major component in both learning and memory. Hormones are stored at the cellular level and retrieved at a cellular level. This well-traveled pathway is strengthened by boosting CAMP when you use Forskolin as a nootropic supplement. And the second way Forskolin works in your brain is it increases cerebral circulation. Coleus forskohlii has traditionally been used to treat hypertension or high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, and angina, or reduced blood flow to the heart. Forskolin is very effective in lowering blood pressure, and scientists believe that this ability to boost brain blood flow is related to Forskolin's CAMP elevating ability. Researchers recruited 7 patients with dilated cardiomyopathy, which is a condition in which the heart's ability to pump blood is decreased due to the left heart ventricle being enlarged and weakened. Supplementing with Forskolin dramatically improved the left ventricle function and increased overall cardiovascular performance. Another group of scientists set out to study the effects of Forskolin on cerebral circulation. In this study, rabbits were anesthetized and measuring devices were attached to the blood vessels entering and coming out of their brain. The study found that Forskolin was an effective cerebral vasodilator. Enlarging blood vessels in the brain boosted blood flow, allowing for more efficient delivery of nutrients and oxygen in brain cells. Next, I'll sum up the benefits of adding Forskolin to your nootropic stack, so stay with me for a few minutes. I'll be back in a few seconds. Research from hundreds of studies and feedback from neurohackers have shown that Forskolin can improve memory by boosting CAMP activity in the brain, boost the catecholamines, including dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine in the brain, boost cerebral circulation or brain blood flow. Forskolin is fat-soluble and quickly enters your brain after you take it. Once in your brain, it boosts CAMP activity. CAMP is involved in the long-term potentiation process of forming and preserving memories. Forskolin combined with artichoke extract is even more effective. Forskolin effectively boosts CAMP levels but also increases PDE4 in the brain. PDE4 is a CAMP inhibitor and will counteract increases by Forskolin if left unchecked. Inhibiting PDE4 by adding artichoke extract and boosting CAMP with Forskolin also potentiates dopamine release in the brain. Boosting processes in this stream of chemical reactions in the brain increases learning and memory without the side effects of stimulating dopamine production through the use of drugs like Adderall or Ritalin. Now next, I'll share with you what Forskolin feels like when you take it as a nootropic supplement, so don't go anywhere. Many neurohackers report that Forskolin, when taken with artichoke extract, improves mood. It motivates you to want to learn and to get things done. Some say that it works as good as modafinil. The general consensus is improved long-term memory, increased ability to retain information, increased ability to study, improved mood and motivation. Next, I'll tell you about a few clinical studies I found that help explain how Forskolin works as a nootropic even better. So please stay tuned. CAMP responsive element binding protein, or CREB, is a protein that modulates the transcription of genes. Increases in CAMP triggers the activation of CREB. And this transcription factor is a big part of intracellular signaling. It regulates everything from the production of new sperm cells in men to the circadian rhythms that control your sleep and awake cycles to memory formation. Forskolin increases CAMP, which triggers the activation of CREB. Researchers at Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory in Harbor, New York, have found that through animal studies that CREB is required for a variety of complex forms of memory, including spatial memory and social learning. Benzodiazepines, or benzos like Valium, are a class of psychoactive drug that's used to treat anxiety, insomnia, agitation, muscle spasms, alcohol withdrawal, and before medical and dental procedures to keep patients calm. But benzos come with a whole host of negative side effects, including addiction, cognitive impairment, decreasing effectiveness or tolerance, and nasty withdrawal symptoms when you quit them. In a study published in the International Journal of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Science, scientists looked at non-GABA substances that elevated CAMP and have an anti-anxiety activity. So they took a look at Forskolin. In this animal study, researchers compared the effects on anxiety of Forskolin compared to diazepam or Valium, and found that Forskolin produced significant anti-anxiety activity in both stressed and unstressed animals. Valium had an anti-anxiety effect on the unstressed animals, but did not work for stressed animals. The researchers noted that the anti-anxiety activity of Forskolin was accompanied by a significant elevation of CAMP levels. There's CAMP again. The researchers concluded that Forskolin was a better option for treating anxiety. This non-receptor-mediated anti-anxiety action through CAMP elevation was preferable to the adverse reactions people get from using receptor-mediated drugs like benzos. If you ever find yourself in a war zone, you may want to have a bottle of Forskolin with you. Acetylcholinesterase is the primary cholinesterase in your body. This enzyme catalyzes the breakdown of acetylcholine once acetylcholine is used in the synaptic cleft during neurotransmission. And this is how it works. During neurotransmission, acetylcholine is released from the first neuron into the synaptic cleft of the second neuron where it binds to acetylcholine receptors and does its job of passing on the neural signal. Once acetylcholine has done its job, acetylcholinesterase, which is an enzyme, and it's also located in that synaptic cleft, steps in and breaks down acetylcholine by liberating the choline. The liberated choline is taken up again by another neuron, and acetylcholine is synthesized by combining the free recycled choline with acetyl-CoA through the action of choline acetyltransferase. Got that? The chemical warfare agents like sarin gas and insecticides like malathion act to inhibit acetylcholinesterase, which means that they shut down the recycling processes needed for acetylcholine production in your brain. Researchers have demonstrated that Forskolin is a very effective acetylcholinesterase promoter. Forskolin activates acetylcholinesterase and upregulates its expression. Using mouse models, the scientists showed that Forskolin boosted acetylcholinesterase expression outside and inside the affected brain cells. They concluded that Forskolin can sufficiently upregulate cellular acetylcholinesterase production and protect cells against chemical warfare agents like sarin. That's a big deal. Forskolin works to protect your brain from damage caused by insecticides too. So if you're using an insecticide in your house or out in your garden, you may want to protect your brain by dosing with Forskolin first. The recommended dosage for Forskolin is 250 milligrams of Coleus forskohlii at 10% or 125 milligrams of Coleus forskohlii at 25%. For boosting CAMP in the CILTEP stack, 4 milligrams of Forskolin extract per day along with 900 milligrams of artichoke extract for PDE4 suppression. Note that you will not get the full nootropic benefit of using Forskolin if you dose it on its own. Forskolin has a tendency to boost CAMP and PDE4 levels, and PDE4 suppresses CAMP. Artichoke extract helps control PDE4. And don't worry about measuring out an accurate 4 milligrams for this CILTEP stack. I've been using 250 milligrams of Forskolin of 10% ForsLean with 900 milligrams of artichoke extract, which was 6% extract, with great success. For countering Forskolin's effect on acetylcholinesterase, 800 milligrams of Alcar. Many users of this stack report it helpful to supplement with 500 milligrams of phenylalanine, a bioactive B complex, and caffeine. Forskolin induces CYP3A gene expression in your liver, which means, like grapefruit juice, Forskolin needs to be used cautiously, as it will amplify the effects of other nootropics in your stack and prescription meds. Acetylcholinesterase is upregulated by CAMP, which makes you sleepy. This means that available acetylcholine in your brain drops. You can counteract this by using acetyl L-carnitine, or Alcar, which calms the upregulation of acetylcholinesterase. The most common side effect with Forskolin is diarrhea because increased CAMP affects the smooth muscle in your gastrointestinal tract. Things move through your intestines faster with Forskolin, but this side effect usually happens at much higher than recommended dosages for Forskolin. Forskolin reduces blood pressure. So if you're on high blood pressure meds or have naturally low blood pressure, you should avoid using Forskolin. Now next I'll tell you what type of Forskolin to buy. So please stick around. Forskolin is usually marked as Forskolin or Coleus forskohlii on the bottle. Forskolin typically comes in 125 milligram capsules of Coleus forskohlii at 25% Forskolin, or 250 milligram capsules of Coleus forskohlii at 10% Forskolin. Look for a Coleus forskohlii or Forskolin supplement with the percentage of Forskolin extract clearly marked on the label. ForsLean by Sabinza Corporation is a branded and patented form of Coleus forskohlii that's been used most often in human trials. So I prefer and recommend a supplement that uses ForsLean as their source of Forskolin. Now, researchers in India reported that Forskolin concentration can change significantly depending on where the Coleus forskohlii is grown, and why I prefer a standardized version like ForsLean. So that's my report on Forskolin. If you want to see links to the studies I talked about, go to nootropicsexpert.com, my website, and search for Forskolin, or click on the link down below in the notes section below this video. Once you're at my website, Nootropics Expert, you'll find a full transcript for this video, and you'll also find dozens of articles on all the well-known nootropics on Nootropics Expert. If you haven't already, download your free copy of Secrets of the Optimized Brain. It's nearly 100 pages and contains details on 92 of the most popular nootropics used today. It's free. And my 4-time award-winning book, the second edition of Head First, The Complete Guide to Healing and Optimizing Your Brain with Nootropic Supplements, is available worldwide. Head First, the second edition, is 962 pages and is available in hardcover, paperback, or for iPad or Kindle. You can get your copy at any major bookseller, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Balboa Press, Apple Books, Walmart, and others. You will find a link to those stores down below in the notes section for this video. And did I mention that Head First won 4 awards? You really need to get a copy if you haven't already. Again, Head First is available worldwide. Now, if you're feeling frustrated and think that you could use some professional help with choosing the right nootropics, or figuring out how to deal with your own brain health problems, consider booking a personal consultation with me. You'll find a link to my calendar below in the notes section below this video. And if you want to see more videos on all the best nootropics used today, subscribe to this channel before you go. I'll be putting up new videos on nootropics and optimizing your brain every week. And thank you for watching. I'm David Toman, author of Nootropics Expert.